I'm Ranger Mike Gorman with the Richmond National Battlefield Park, one of the park historians. And I'm here with you today at a very exciting property that is being preserved, the Cold Harbor and Gaines's Mill battlefields, which makes it really wonderful for someone like me. Part of the trick with this park is that we've got so much history all around us, but we just have little chunks of land, pieces of the puzzle. And as more things get preserved, we get to see more of it, and more of those pieces fall into place, and we get to tell more stories. It's a great reason to have a park. It's a great reason for preservation. And that's really what we do here. So this ground that I'm standing on right now is really important, both in the 1862 campaign and 1864. In 1862, all of Jackson's forces, who are now coming in to the Cold Harbor Crossroads and fanning out along this road, facing off against the Federals to my rear, are going to deploy in a line all across this road. Bradley Johnson's Maryland Brigade is going to attack right behind me, right past the Garthright House, over my left shoulder. And this is going to be one of the most famous incidents of the battle, where under fire the men were halted by Bradley Johnson to reorganize them and actually put them into drill on the field while shells are bursting all around them. This happened right here. And flash forward 2 years to 1864, when Confederates are counterattacking to my right towards the Cold Harbor Crossroads. Kit's South Carolinians came right through here, trying to dislodge the Federals from their capture of the crossroads. This did not work. It failed in spectacular fashion, and you can imagine now Confederates streaming back and taking up new position about 300 yards that way in what's now the park unit of the Richmond National Battlefield Park. Also, later that evening, on June 1st, 1864 now, the 2nd Connecticut Heavy Artillery under Emory Upton is going to pass right through here, making their major attack towards the Confederate lines in the park. So this is battlefield land that is important not just to one campaign, but to two battles, two different campaigns. And in Cold Harbor, it's important 2 different times. The Confederate counterattack towards the crossroads and the June 1st Union assault. So this is crucial land, one of those important pieces of the puzzle that'll help us tell a much larger story, especially as we get into more modern and recent scholarship that can do more than we ever could. And it's very, very exciting.
Thanks so much, Mike. These opportunities are puzzle pieces, literally, and you've seen these parks grow. Gaines's Mill, we have the opportunity to make it grow by 10 times compared to what it was just not all that long ago. And in the case of Cold Harbor, we can multiple times increase this park, and there's a lot more work to be done. Now, Mike already mentioned the Marylanders in this area. I want to give you an excerpt from the forthcoming book by Bobby Crick, Robert E. L. Crick, longtime ranger here at the Richmond National Battlefield Park. And associated with this appeal, if you give the right amount, you have the opportunity to get volume 1 as soon as it comes out, included with the appeal. So I'm really hoping that Andy Poulton over-edits this so that you don't have to look at me reading from my phone, but here you go. The Marylanders did not tarry in case Jackson changed his mind. They set off not long after Lawton's Georgians had moved out. Their route took them toward the creek and probably through the vicinity of the Garthright House. At a barn north of the stream, the Marylanders found skulkers of every rank. Upon interrogation, one colonel said that he had cramps in his stomach. After a perfunctory effort at dispersing the crowd, Johnson pushed ahead through the dense woods toward Bosun's Creek. His men crossed at a spot opposite the McGee House and thus aimed toward the deepest part of the field north of that building. All 5 mounted officers in the regiment sent their horses rearward, and with the men pushed or waded through as best we could. Johnson shouted out a short speech just before the crossing began, its theme being that they were the only Marylanders on the field, and therefore our duty to our state is greater. One participant remembered it as a remarkable cross-country experience over ditch, brush, logs, and men. After negotiating the swamp and climbing the hill to the edge of the vast field, Johnson led his men a bit farther forward. The sights there astounded them. Frank Bond wrote vividly about seeing a friendly regiment advancing across the field in column of 4s with its flag positioned in the middle. As Federal fire danced through it, the rear began to crumble away, first 1 or 2, then several, and by dozens until every man behind the colors had gone to the rear. The first half kept on and reminded me of a serpent cut in half. He concluded that the whole field was a confused mass, apparently without any head. And this goes on. I'm not even going to read everything that I have right here, because This is important. Scholarship like this helps us understand a battlefield better. On our maps that you might see associated with the appeal, we have the Marylanders a little bit farther east than here, and all of a sudden, when this book comes out, all of us will have the opportunity to understand this battle that included a charge that proved to be the greatest and largest charge of the Civil War a little bit better. So thanks to Mike for not only helping us out today, but for performing camera duties at well. Thanks for everything you do to support battlefield preservation and education.
Hello, this is Trace Atkins. To stay up to date on all the latest and coolest videos, please subscribe to the Trust YouTube channel. Preserve, educate, inspire.